different parts of Australia in the last week or two, we've experienced a lot of really, really wild weather, particularly in Victoria and up along the coast and Queensland. So there's floods, trees down, record number of trees down across roads and properties and all kinds of places. So we've had some wild weather and some wild storms. You're with Mission Alive. I'm Roger from the MSC Mission Office. Our gospel today involves Jesus in the middle of a storm, and he wasn't taking much notice of it. He was asleep. The apostles woke him up and said, "Don't you care what's going on here?" He just looked around and said, "It's all right, be calm, don't worry." I guess in our lives we can have many storms, personally, in the family, different ways. Certainly in society there are many storms over many things, and some of them are only a storm in a teacup. And there's issues involved, but really, in the light of everything, they're not very much. Around the world there's a lot of storms. Some people have got unbelievable storms going on in their lives. But I guess in some ways for all of us, this pandemic is a storm. It's upsetting our lives, it's challenging us in many different ways. And many people in other parts of the world seem to live in the midst of a storm. Our sister Rita in South Sudan, putting in water wells for people. Well, they're living in the middle of a political economic storm there because government is unstable, government is shifting, every now and again there's fighting, there's rebels on this side and on that side, and in between there's probably bandits and lawlessness. And this is so in a number of countries. And every now and again in a number of countries there's outbursts of protests, fighting, conflict. So there's storms all over the place. So what do we do in a storm? Jesus' answer to the storm was he calmed the storm. He said, "Be quiet, settle down." It would be nice if Jesus would do that with some of our storms. But in the middle of the storms, and I think this is the lesson, in the middle of the storms we have to find this calm. The storm is raging around us, but in the middle of it we have to be able to centre and find a calmness within it so that we can handle what's going on around us. And one way to do that is to focus on Jesus. That we can focus on Jesus and let Jesus calm things down. And people do that in other ways, through meditation, different types of meditation, through different ways of settling ourselves down, centering ourselves so that we have a centre point. Recently somebody said the nature of who we are as MSC should be messy on the fringes, solid at the centre. It's not a bad way of looking at it. We're often messy on the edges, and that's where the storm is, and solid at the centre. I remember a few years ago I was in the Solomon Islands, and we travelled up and down the coast, and the people there with their dinghies and stuff, they were real sea people. Some of the pilots, they really knew their stuff, and they could just steer through the waves and stuff, and they knew the types of waves. And there was an understanding that there were waves on the surface, and then underneath there were deeper currents that were calmer and a different type of movement of water. And somehow I think with the storms that are going on around us, we need to go down into a deeper point. And this is what we have to do sometimes on mission, where things are happening a bit stormy, a bit messy, in our relationships with people, and in trying to proclaim the good news. We have to be able to reach a deeper, calmer place in order to do that. So this is part of our mission too. So when we see Jesus in the boat today and he calms the storm, we can sort of try and follow his example to see how we can calm the storm. see how we can touch into what Jesus did, touch into the person that Jesus was, and calm the storm and settle things down so that we can think more clearly, we can speak more clearly, we can listen to others, and we can move to some solution. Thank you for being with us on Mission Alive. Carry on with the mission wherever you are.